Hey everybody, this is Miss Luna coming to you with another Miss Luna Speaks, telling you what they should have did. So, first things up, disclaimer, this is no shade to Beyonce, this is no shade to Disney. Well, it's actually a little bit of shade to Disney, but no shade to Beyonce, okay? Because I think she's great, love her, all that jazz. But they could have done better with the Lion King remake that they gave us in 2019. So I just feel like, where was the creativity? Where was the drama? Like I was not entertained by 2019's Lion King. I don't really know any kids who prefer the 2019 Lion King over the original 94 animated one. So again, it's just like, who is this for? Because I get that Jungle Book was really successful, but Jungle Book was really successful because the story was a bit different and it made a bit more sense for the animals to be talking. I don't know. It just, the natural human to animal interaction that was in the Jungle Book, and then to do the whole thing like animal with the Lion King, I just feel like it was missing that heart that the characters were able to give to the animated one. But that's just me. So this is what they should have did. I feel like if they would, that what they should have did was combine Beyonce's idea for Black is King into the remake for Lion King. So hear me out. So it would have been a boom actual live action remake with people. And I honestly really like Beyonce's idea of using the Orishas as spirit guides instead of the monkey. We can still have it take place in kind of like not modern day Africa, but like, kind of like where Beyonce was going, the African tribes and whatnot. We still could have did that, but spiced it up a little bit, made it a little bit more modern, like how she did. So I like that, but we could have just incorporated a bit more into it. So basically, the opening would have been everybody coming to see the birth of, little Simba, who would have been an actual person. And we could have kept the boy from Black is King, in my opinion. I don't think he did a bad job. He was so cute. But we could have had that be the opening song with the Circle of Life, and that would have been really beautiful. We would have seen like great African scenery. It would have been great. And we would have immediately felt some connection because, oh baby, little baby. So we would have really, felt drawn in, right? Especially when we know the soundtracks is the same. So then we fast forward to, I think that, what is it? The Morning Report song that was cut from the original version. But if you were like me and had the Lion King Special Edition DVD, then you saw the cut version, you saw the uncut version of, the song The Morning Report. So I think that in my Imaginary People version, they could have kept that and then just have that build. They could have had us see the kingdom that way. Just, doing the Morning Report, we're seeing all the people that could have taken place in, in the marketplace. Like they could have seen like the different people in the area. We could have, and it also would have enforced that Mufasa really cared about the people in the kingdom and he wasn't just some king. You know what I mean? Like it would have really drove home the fact that they were all connected, that it wasn't just Mufasa lording over everybody the way Scar tried to make it seem like in the 2019 version. So that's what I would have did for that. And then that would have taken us into I Just Can't Wait to Be King, which could have taken place in the palace, which, that could have really shown some, snuck in a little bit of like African history that could have like we could have like had them playing in the gardens with like Simba and Nala, especially when we get to how I would have done how I would have done Can You Feel the Love Tonight? We needed how Just Can't Wait to Be King to take place, like a big musical number taking place in the palace, moving out because again they're trying to get away from Zazu. So they're in the palace, they're in the garden trying to get away. Then they like boom move out into the marketplace, move out into the savannah, and it's just it's tight. It's tight, and so it just would have been really cool. You know what I mean? If they would have incorporated like them literally running away like from the palace, like escaping through the palace and little secret tunnels and shit. And Zazu's like, ooh, catch them at this turn. Ooh, catch them at this turn. And then they finally get out of the palace, and then, song ends. They're running off to the elephant graveyard, which I feel like could have been the name of a hookah lounge or a, pool hall or, strip club. It could have been, it could have been like some salacious place that, kids weren't supposed to be being at, seeing things that kids weren't supposed to be like hanging out, seeing and whatnot. So it could have really been like a dangerous situation. Like it could have been a whole let's kidnap him for ransom type of thing. So it could have been Scar setting up a kidnapping or whatever for, Mufasa and them to come get them and all this jazz. Because again, we're not even getting into the Scar of it all. So boom, Just Can't Wait to Be King happens. They go to this, adult place that kids ain't supposed to be at. And so, seeing stuff that kids ain't supposed to see. So boom, now we're getting to the Scar of it all. So I really liked what Black is King did with the song Scar. I really thought that kind of got to the heart of where Scar was coming from. And I feel like the 2019 remake didn't really give us that. It's like, yeah, he's mad because he was gonna be like next in line for king. Yeah, he's mad because he don't got Sarabi, but okay, like, because again, if you're not gonna give us if you're not gonna lean into the animation of giving these animals emotional feelings in their face, and you're gonna go with real cats, then you have to like kind of plump up the story a little bit. You have to give a little bit more give a little bit more into the story, in my opinion. So that's why I feel like what they didn't cut it for me, because I'm like, okay, like we know this story already. So if we know this story already, then you really need to surprise us and wow us so I don't feel insulted spending my money at the box office. But that's just me. So then I would have done, let's see, honestly, I also think that Beyoncé cast the perfect person to play Scar in the Black is King remake. What was the name of it? Let me see. It was I wrote it down. Oh yeah, Warren Masemola. Warren Masemola. So I feel like that was a super good choice because like his face looks like a lion and he looks like an evil lion. Like if Scar was a person, I would imagine he would look like him. And I also think that I would have kept the Nandi Medina choice for Nala. I would have kept that. Like, I'm sorry, but in the live people version, Beyonce would not have been Nala. I am sorry, but like She didn't need to be Nala in this one. Like, I'm so sorry. Like, she was cool. I like, it was fine, but it wasn't necessary. No, no. And but I think that she would have been a great spirit guide, since that's basically what she was in Black is King. I think that that would have been a good role for her, and that would have made more sense for her to sing "Can You Feel the Love Tonight?" You know, and you know, because I just thought it was an odd casting, in my opinion. What did Tim Gunn say? It seems a little matronly. Because, I mean, but no, I would have kept her in the movie, kept her, like, put her in a directing role, because, again, I really did like her idea, and I really did like what she did with Black is King and the retelling of the story. And so I really think if Disney would have combined the two, then it would have just made for a much, much better story. It really, really would have. Like, think of the musical numbers they could have done. Think of the colors. Think of the remixes they could have done with the original songs. Because honestly, and then this brings me to the Be Prepared. Because honestly, Be Prepared was, to me, one of the most disappointing parts of the movie. Because as a kid, Be Prepared was fucking terrifying. It was terrifying. Be Prepared was like, ooh, you wanna, like, as a little kid, you kind of want to cuddle up a little bit. But no, like, this and the 2019 version, it was a very ferociously given monologue, but it didn't really make me feel like, I'm like, okay, you're a hater, I get it. Like, you know, tell me more. And it also didn't give me, it would have made more sense. With the People version, we could have seen more of the fostering of a relationship between the hyenas and Scar, because the hyenas could have been a gang, which it seems like they were a gang in the Black is King version with the motorcycles and shit. So they could have kept that same energy. And, you know, we really could have dug into what the hyenas had to gain from Scar becoming king. Because it's like, yeah, Shinzi, they kind of show Shinzi to be smart in the 2019 version. So, yeah, unlimited access to food. Okay, but then what happens when the food runs out? Like, I feel like they, you know, it could have been, it could have, like, they could have dug more into that, so that we really would have seen, like, oh shit, like, they about to get, like, Scar at the end is about to get done up by these hyenas because they double crossed him. The double crossed. That could have been fun. And then that also leads, so Be Prepared could have been just, it could have been basically how Scar was set up, but it could have been just, it could have taken place in the hookah lounge or in whatever they chose to be Scar's domain, whether it be a hookah lounge or a club of some sort. You know, smoke-filled screens, like him popping out at the hyenas, like, ooh, y'all better work for me, like, ooh, y'all better work for me, like he really could have built it up, and especially with the actor playing that role, like, come on, that would have been great. And then, so boom, that takes me to Mufasa's death, which I kind of like how they did in Black is King, but, you know, he got ran over by a motorcycle, so that was kind of cool. I mean, that wasn't cool, but, you know, it was a good way to go in terms of, like, a stampede, if you will. So I think we can keep that as a thing and just go with that. But it would have been, again, more dramatic, because we've seen the building of these relationships. We've seen the connection that Mufasa has with his, you know, with his people in the kingdom. We see the connection that that Simba has this dad, and then we see the hatred and jealousy that Scar has for his brother. Like, we see all this stuff. And so then when Mufasa dies, it's that way when he's murdered by Scar, it's that much more dramatic. You know what I mean? So it just could have been that much more dramatic, in my opinion. Because again, it's a great coming of age story that tells that it has so many layers. And if they just would have sat down for a couple more years and really like fleshed out the story and given us something spicy, something new, while keeping to the story, it really would have ate. Like, it really would have. And so boom, that takes us to we're gonna fast forward, because I thought after Mufasa dies, like, it's all sad, we keep the funeral scene, all that's fine, but Hakuna Matata was fine. Would I have kept Donald Glover as Simba? Yes, because I think that he would have done better in person than he did playing a lion. Because he has an expressive voice, and so I feel like a lot of that expression is lost on an animal face. That's just me, though. Because again, like, so again, I would have liked to see that. I think that he still would have ate down in the people version role, and I think that, yeah, I think there could have been a better chemistry with the actor that played Nala, Nandi, and Donald Glover than there would have been with Beyonce playing Nala on screen and Donald Glover. Like, it just would have, because again, like, Beyonce is past that, to me, she's past that young love age, that, and that's okay. That's okay. She's our auntie, and that's okay. So I just feel like in the remake, it would have been better to have her somewhere else as a spirit guide. That would have been a better choice. So that way, when we get to Can You Feel the Love Tonight, and I would have cut Donald Glover out of that completely, honestly, because I don't think that he has, and I love Donald Glover. I love him as Childish Gambino. Thought he was great. I've seen him in concert, but I didn't think that his voice carried in that song. Like, I don't think it was, because he tried to do a couple runs, but then I thought that Beyonce was running around a little bit too much in that song. Like, that song with them two together on it should have been the song that Disney does for the credits. Like, they have the movie version, and then at the credits they have like the pop snappy version. Like, in Frozen, they had the, Idina Menzel version, Elsa, and then at the credit scene they had Demi Lovato's version, and then Demi Lovato's running all over the place in that song. And I think either Beyonce by herself would have sung it just straight like it's supposed to be sung, or we just could have let her, we just could have let her do her thing on it, but just by herself, because it didn't need to be a duet. In my opinion. So I also boom, I would have had them come back. So once, Nala finds Simba, they fight, and they flash forward to the big fight scene between Simba and Scar. I would have had that been a motherfucking sword fight, bitch. Like we're like sword and then fists. Like we're really. They could have Disney could have done their research, so it could have been historically accurate or whatever the fuck. But I would have had really Simba going at it with this evil motherfucker Scar. Because while they're off Hakuna Matata and Scar is really going to be shown to be fucking up the kingdom that we've all come to know and love during the beginning of the movie. Like, you know, he's going to let the hyenas, like, you know, charge people, you know, protection fees. Like, they're going to be running them up. You know, stomping on people's fruit, you know, kicking over baskets. Whatever, you know, causing mayhem and destruction and dismay, confusion and delay. So they, you know, all that's going to be happening so that when Simba finally comes back, the fight is that much bigger. And it's just going to be boom, 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 fight, 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 fight. And that could have been really great. We could have had, you know, a mashup of Be Prepared and Just Can't Wait to Be King. Oh! Like, that could have been, like, you know, because young Simba, because he's trying to overcome, like, those feelings of inadequacy that he felt as a cub and felt like he was the cause of his dad's death. So then we have Be Prepared. Like, that would have been dope. Like, that would have been dope. So that's happening in the background and all that is happening, and then boom, 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 all is revealed. Scar's the bad guy, and then Scar tries to flip it. All that happens. The only thing that's different is it's just people. And I just think we end with the wedding scene of Keys to the Kingdom. That's the ending. And it's a wedding and everything's happy. And I just think that would have been a lot better than, it would have been a much better movie than what we got. And it would have been more entertaining. It would have been something fresh. And I would have felt better spending money to go see it. I didn't see Lion King in theaters because I was working. But I saw it when it came to Disney Plus. But that's what they should have did. My thanks for tuning in, guys. My name is Miss Luna. Talk to you later. Bye.